Hello and welcome. This is a special about tripod screws, tripod holes and tripod threads. You might ask, hey mister, why do you make a special on tripod screws? Well, because let's say recently we have a lot of damage to our remote camera series because of the tripod screws. So this, as an example, is the underplate of a HE130 camera, and it has two tripod holes. It has more than one because the total weight of the camera when it's fully mounted is a little bit too much for one screw hole, so we put two. Now a very enthusiastic user even wanted to make a third tripod hole screwing something. I don't know how he did it, and he even bended the plate, but this did not damage this camera. Anyway, tripod screws have a certain length. By the way, so these screws are 1/4 U, and that is not for only our camera. This is about, let's say, for 100 years, it's 1/4 U are these screws. Of course, there is a limit on the depth you can screw these screws in. And to show you, I have some tripod plates here. So this is a very old, I think, Cartoni, and you can see, I will zoom in a little bit. One moment. The insert, the part that is going into the camera, is about 4 threads. This is another one. You will see it's a little bit less. Well, maybe it can rise a little bit if I push on it. It's about 4 threads. This one, 4 threads. This small Sachtler, I believe. So it has only 3 threads, but the height is about 4 threads. This is a Panasonic consumer flash adapter. You can see all 1/4 U's, they are 4 threads. This is a Sachtler, 4 threads. This is a very old brown flash adapter from the 70s. You can see it's 4 threads. Another plate, tripod plate, 4 threads. And this is a Cartoni, and I believe it might even not be the original screw. It's a little bit more, but it's 4 threads and a half. That is still no problem. So I hope you're convinced now that a screw thread is the screw length is about 4 threads, and this means about 5 millimeter. Now the problem, I believe, starts when people are using this kind of 1/4 U screws because they want to mount the camera maybe immediately to some mounting device somewhere using standard screws, because they don't use a tripod plate, but they mount it to the ceiling directly with a screw and using this kind of machine. By the way, and then a bit on it. By the way, this is not a screwdriver. Originally, it's a drill. So, if you use a too long screw on a bit on this, you will not feel when you reach the end of the possible insert. And as a result, you go through it. What happens at the end? If you go over 5 threads in this, what happens at the end? If I take out the PCB, that if you're this depth above, first you will take off the little roof. There was a protection, but it's already gone here. It's broken out. Then if you continue, there is some space, but at the end you will hit the PCB and have a very nice example here of the HE130 outboard. And you see there was a very enthusiastic guy with his drilling machine, and it really did go, I think, 1 millimeter in the PCB, and the remainings of the PCB are, there is crumble all over. You can see how deep he did go, of course. And then he say, hey, Panasonic, my camera doesn't work anymore. It's still under warranty and the whole thing. Yeah, please check it for me or give me a new one. Then customers say, no, you made a bad design because the screw hole is not deep enough. Well, wait a minute. How can we make a bad design? Because it was forever like this. To prove, I took a very old camera. There is a screw hole there. For those who don't know how a camera looked in the 40s and the 30s, it looked like this, and there is the screw hole. It's already 1/4 U, so basically this screw will fit in there without any problem. And after about 3.5, this one is even not so deep, it will block you. So it has a second screw there. If I take it out of its leather jacket, we should be able to reach that screw. There it is. And I can go 1, 2, 3, 3.5. So I cannot go any further in these old cameras because the film will be here. But yeah, and for the really non-believers, let me close this guy. This is a pen Olympus from the 70s. Look, the screw hole. So this one already goes a little bit deeper. This one can accept without any problem the 4 threads, or about 5.5 millimeters. But you cannot go any deeper. If you go deeper, you go straight into the mechanism of the camera. So basically, it is what I want to say. It is like this forever, and not since Panasonic made remote cameras. So please, gentlemen and ladies, understand, there is no wrong design or whatever in the tripod insert in the camera. I hope this could convince you. Now, so watch out with these long screws. Don't go more deeper than 4 threads. Of course, we learned our lesson. So this is a bottom plate of a newer model, which is the UE150, and we made the inserts deeper. So now you can go about 6 or even 7 threads inside, and this part is fully metal now, so it's much more difficult to go through it. But this is, we did specially for you. It's not a standard like that. So, but I believe still we will find some people who can manage to damage that one also. That only time can tell. Okay, a second thing that happens to the, it became a little messier, but anyway, a second thing, so that you need to know about the tripod screw hole. This plate is made of a kind of aluminium. So you could say, hey, Panasonic, this thread is not so strong. Well, no, but what you don't know, that inside the aluminium there is a metal helicoil. A helicoil. What is a helicoil? Well, a helicoil is a kind of metal insert. Here I have some, and they are made of very hard steel, and they go inside the aluminium plate, and they make the real thread. So they are very strong. By the way, we use this kind of technology, another product. This is the plate of a Varicam. So you can see very well, the plate is very light, made of a kind of aluminium, but in any insert, in any screw hole, there is a helicoil insert. It means that it's in normal lifetime of the camera impossible to consume the thread. Of course, what can happen after some time of usage, and especially in the rental business, it can happen that there get dust and dirt inside, and it gets difficult to get the screw in the next time. And you know, people start to force and then they damage the helicoil coil and even can take it out. And then the next one say, hey guys, my screw doesn't fit. So what you can do in the rental business is when it returns, check if it's not too dirty. If it's too dirty, just wash it out with some alcohol or another other liquid to take all the dirt. And once the alcohol has evaporated, you put a very little drop, even not a drop, this is just oil. I just put a little bit of oil to grease the helicoil coil. Oof, difficult with my words. I lost my screw now. But anyway, afterwards, here you are, you will find that the screw will go inside as was it totally new. So yes, and of course, also check regularly the screws of the tripods, especially in rental business where people try to force them and do not insert them well. At the end they get damaged, and when a damaged screw, every time it's going into the tripod insert of a camera, it will damage that insert also. It's a little bit like COVID. Once you're affected, you affect any other thing you will meet with. So check the screw regularly, and if it's too damaged, please replace it. That is it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Bye bye.